Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I saw several notices about this, and it's gotten to the point now where I see things like this, I don't believe them. I literally don't believe them. I just assume, it's another scam. But a lot of people send it to me and say, Steve, I think this is legit. And it actually is. Facebook has reached a $725 million settlement. It's a class action. And if you used Facebook between 2007 and 2022, you're entitled to some money. Now, how much money you're going to get, we don't know yet. But the point is that there was a class action against Facebook. Facebook's admitted no wrongdoing at all. They've admitted nothing, but they've put up a bunch of money, $725 million. And so I'll explain this to you, but it's like most class actions. You're probably going to wind up with a coupon for a free placemat from Big Boy. Not sure why I'm always picking on Big Boy placemats, but Facebook's $725 million settlement, how to apply for your share from king5.com. King5.com. If you were a Facebook user at any point between May 24th, 07 and December 22nd, 2022, and that's quite a long period of time, by the way, realize that, the social media company may owe you money. If you had an account between those dates, you can now apply for your share of a $725 million class action settlement. So if you're the only person who applies and the attorneys waive their fees, you'll get $725 million. The problem is millions of people will apply and the attorneys will get their fees. The settlement is the result of numerous lawsuits against Facebook, which now for some odd reason is known as Meta, claiming the company shared private user data with the data mining firm Cambridge Analytica and other third parties without their permission. They also claim Facebook did not sufficiently monitor and enforce its own rules on third parties who had access to user data. Meta, which denies all liability and all wrongdoing, agreed last December to pay $725 million to resolve these claims without going to trial. The question is, are you eligible for this? Well, most individuals who had an account, just one account, at any point between May 24th, 07 and December 22nd, 2022, Facebook confirmed to verify it has sent some users notifications from within the platform alerting them to class action lawsuit involving the company. So if you got a notice through your Facebook page, believe it or not, it might be real. And we're so used to getting so much nonsense sent to us on Facebook. I literally get 5 or 10 a day messages or things posted on my page or that are just scams, just out and out scams. In fact, yesterday, I had a guy send me a note through Messenger, and it was obviously one of these, hey, how you doing? Have you heard the good news? Have you got your free money? Oh, you haven't got your free money yet? Oh, you need to call my buddy here. He'll get you your free money. So I went to block the guy's address, and when I looked his name up on Facebook, he had friended me 3 times. One of them was real. 2 of them were clones. But I hadn't realized that I had 3 friends with the same icon, thumbnail, and name. And 2 of them were probably clones who just stolen his information. But anyway, so you may have gotten a notification from Facebook. And if you did, well, it was real. But you can submit your claim online at facebookuserprivacysettlement.com, or you can download the claim form and mail it in. And, you know, I'm tempted to say we should all just mail them in. Let's just create a ton of work for them. Because, we're all going to get like $1.23. And it's going to be a postcard that doesn't look like real mail. You can also request a paper copy of the form by calling the settlement administrator at 855-556-2233. The deadline to submit your claim is August 25th of this year. Can you imagine what if you call that number? I can't imagine a real person is going to answer the phone. Are they going to hire someone to answer that phone? I suspect it'll go to voicemail, and it'll tell you if you qualify, leave your name and address, and then someone's going to clear those voicemails. That's got to be one of the worst jobs on earth, clearing voicemails of people who've called and left their names and phone numbers and addresses that you got to write down and fill out and mail something to. As part of the claim process, you have to provide some personal information, including your name, home address, email, and how you'd like to receive your share of the settlement. And by the way, this, of course, is the ultimate insult because Facebook, or as we call it now, Meta, misused all of your personal information. They're going to pay you a couple bucks as long as you send along your updated personal information to them. It's absurd. And I understand. To mail me a check, that's what they got to do. But people are going to say, Steve, you people still use checks? Why don't you let them do it electronically? You want me to send them my banking information and routing information? I'm not going to do that. No. They've already mishandled all my information at least once, probably more. The big question, of course, is how much you could get from this settlement. And we won't know the answer for at least several months because a number of factors that play into it are still unknown. First, the court needs to determine how much the lawyers will receive. Now, it does say here that the amount could be up to 25%. That's according to the settlement agreement the parties have agreed to. However, you'll notice that it's not a full 33% or 1/3, which is quite common in litigation. But in class actions, especially involving lots of money, they'll often reduce that below 33 to make themselves look better and also to leave a little more money in the class. And let's face it, 25% of $725 million ain't exactly chump change. So, After that, the answer will depend on how many other users submit valid claims and how long you were a user on Facebook during the eligible period. So apparently, the longer you are on, the more likely you are to get more money. So not everyone gets the exact same amount. I have not looked at the settlement forms to see what they ask you, but settlement payments will be distributed after the court grants final approval of the settlement and after any appeals are resolved. A final approval hearing for the settlement of the case has been scheduled for September 7th, 2023. So you should know right now that nothing's going to happen between now and then, and it ain't going to happen then either. Because hidden in there is final approval and after appeals are resolved. And I assure you, if my experience in this world is any indication, there will be appeals. And I can think of several other famous cases I've talked about on this channel, like the Ford dual clutch transmission, where they attempted to settle the class action on that several times, and it kept going up on appeal. And I forgot what stage they're at right now, but it's still unresolved. And so somebody could appeal this. And so therefore, it'll go up on appeal. The appeals get resolved, it'll come back down, or it'll come back down and they'll have to resolve some stuff ordered by the appeal, whatever. And then eventually, there'll be a final settlement. And so whether they can do that by September 7th, I doubt it. However, September 7th is still a long way off. So the good news is, if you actually want your piece of this, because if nothing else, principle, you can file the information now and get in the line for people who will get money whenever that day comes. But will that day be September 7th, 2023? I highly doubt it. But if you want your free money, you may as well take it. Keep in mind, if you don't do anything, you won't receive a payment, and you also forfeit your right to sue Meta about the legal issues in this matter, according to the settlement website. So there are class actions in this world that happen, and they resolve, and they settle all claims for people who were in the class and who were described by the class description. Whether or not they participated, and whether or not they did anything. And I've had people contact my office before and say, Steve, I got this problem. I have a situation with this. And they describe it to me. And they go, but I think there was a class action about this a couple years ago. And I never heard about it. And you go look it up, and it turns out the class action existed. And they sent notices to everyone they thought was a member of the class. But they do miss people. And I've had a couple where somebody called me with what I thought was a very, very good case. I did some research, because you're supposed to do that, and discovered that, no, there was a class action on this that was certified as a class, and it resolved all claims of all people who had that problem. And so there's nothing they could do about it. So you got to think long and hard about whether or not you're ever likely to sue Meta or Facebook over what they did with your data a couple years ago. But that is the legal effect of this. So my advice to you, and this is not legal advice, it's just me talking, is unless you're averse to money, or unless you're averse to just filling out information on something silly, we're going to get $3 and change. Go ahead and do this. It is free money. Why not? And so what they're doing, though, in case you didn't catch this, is there's a pool of $725 million. A portion of that will get sliced off for the attorneys. The remaining pool will then be divided up amongst those who file claims. So the people who don't file claims will leave more money in the pot for the people who do. And I've seen these before where everyone jumps on it and everyone gets 13 cents. Seen other ones where, it's too much of a pain, people didn't do it. Everyone got $4. So who knows? Who knows? But the class could be quite large. I am curious because quite often it'll say in the notice, the class could include as many as, and then give you a number of who might be included in it. Like 100 million people or 50 million people. So they often know that also. They just don't know how many people will respond. So it's Facebook userprivacysettlement.com. And King5 wrote the article. A bunch of people sent it to me. Facebook $725 million settlement. How to apply for your share. Questions, comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Of all the things you wear, your expression is the most important thing.